Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a best of 3 between our boy Gumiho, the master of disaster, and Rogue, also the master of disasters, two masters of chaos, ruining games that used to be perfectly normal. They're always up for the task, let me tell you. You have a perfectly fine game of StarCraft 2, you put in Gumiho, game is ruined. You put in Rogue, game is double ruined. Two negatives don't make a positives in this case. Because, well, that's just how it is, man. They're here to play some video games, let me tell you. Gumiho's gonna start off with a Proxy 3-Rex, beautifully located here on top of the ramp. Scenic views for the Marines as they walk down these ancient stairs. Fire burning on each side. Have to make sure that they don't fall into this little crevice. What the hell's going down there anyway? This looks like the freaking, the halls of Mount Moria, where the dwarves used to live. They're going to be walking up here, popping out some bunkers. I love that we... Ooh, look at this. What is this approach here out of Mr. Rogue? He's going to be going for a triple expand gasless. That is his plan. Now, this actually leaves open the possibility here. This leaves something on the table. The ability to give up your natural base, go for a road warren, and then take a third instantly. Usually you don't have that possibility, but here it is going to be the case. Let's see if that is what Rogue is going for. Okay, we see one spine crawler. We see double queens coming in. A bunch of drones being pulled off the line. This is generally considered to be the wrong call against a triple Rex Marine rush, but of course the micro on the Marine still needs to be correct. Marine 2 and 3 show up right now as the first links are falling. This bunker most likely is eventually gonna go up. There's about 7 seconds remaining of building time, but the work control here is phenomenal. Overlord is gonna get sniped. That is great, but a Marine does go down. Bunker's gonna get killed here as well, and I think the spine is about to finish up in a couple of seconds. Second queen comes down here as well. Don't forget we have a ramp, and that will complicate things in a significant manner here, let me tell you. Marine count is decent at 8. We have okay mining altogether. Are we gonna get a low ground? Something that sounds idiotic, but could be done right now, is for Gumiho, if he is aware of the fact that these things are gone, is to go for these rocks and then come from the side. Like, that would be an insane play, but just because something is insane doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's insane. Insane can be good too, in this context. 6 drones coming out, and we don't have anything as a follow-up here quite yet. Look at this. These SCVs are being pulled off the line. Mr. Rogue is just barely going to miss that. Oh, here we go. We do need to continue moving in, brother. Hello? Come here, there we go. We still have continuous Marine production. Now we have double spines coming in. I'm not sure if Rogue scouted the lack of gas here. We're in a little bit of a supply block as well. So we have one depot going up. He's actually going to take the alternative approach. Look at that. This is beautiful. Oh, the plan here for Gumiho is to mine out these minerals. He's quite a few minerals in his hand already, but he still should be capable of doing. But oh no! It's already gone because Rogue wanted to go for the triple expansion. And now Gumiho sees this. He's like, oh, thanks for doing my work for me. I will not require to do it, you know, won't need to do it myself anymore. You could just walk up into the main base right now, take position on this high ground. All of these are viable options. You can't mine from here anymore. High ground bunker goes down. And we see the big migration of the spines right now. Double bunker onto the high ground. I am not entirely sure what the plan is over there, but we have the triple depot. A couple of SCVs are being sent back home. There's 24 SCVs in total. We have a bunch of drones that are being pulled back. Don't forget, this ridge right now is extremely vulnerable as well. Hatch is going to go down, pool most likely is going to go down. We have the triple depot wall that can take a bit of a hit. A couple of Marines are being sent down. Might need to be sent back to deal with these links at some point. As the hatch falls, Gumiho here in a fairly decent position right now. The question, of course, is going to be who has more income right now? And I think the answer here is clear. The answer here is very clear. It's going to be Gumiho most likely. So these Marines are going to go back home. We'll catch these links. There is no spawning pool. There is a road warren on the way, so Ravagers are going to be great, obviously. I think that spine is actually in range, but the Overlord is not providing vision of the bunker. I love that Gumiho's just waiting. Like, he does not want to show us Marines right now. Or does not want to, you know, show the Overlord that there might be more to all of this. So you're just going to put a couple of Marines in here. Even denying 2 patches is going to be good enough. Even just denying 1 patch is annoying enough that there's really not that much you can do about it. Low ground spines here will be capable of taking some action. More Marines being added into the mix. Road warren is out. Great news for all of us. So another drone's going to get taken out here by this bunker. We can, of course, repair this as well. More Marines in production. First 3 Roaches coming out. Now, a couple of Ravagers could make a difference, but at the same time, the Marine count continues to grow, marching down the grey steps here on Torches Alley. As this bunker is in some serious trouble. I think Gumio's had enough, actually. He says, you know what, I think I'm up in supply. I think I have enough units, and he's just going to burst in here. This does feel pretty scary, actually. I mean, he's up 14, 15 supply. Does need to be careful. Biles raining down from the sky right now. Both of these spines are set up. Roaches kind of holding their own, but the Marine count might just be a bit too high. The bile control is fantastic. Look at this. One Ravager in the back doing a great job over here. But actually, GG. Gumiho leaves despite he had a hard contain. He had better eco behind all of this. He went in and lost. I honestly thought that Gumio had it there. This was an insanely surprising outcome. I don't quite get why this happened. Because he had the full contain pretty much. Yes, the Ravagers are gonna come out, but your opponent is on 1 base, cannot mine from out of one of the 7 patches. You have about an even worker count with a mule. Like, you could get a CC at home. You could get gases at home. Like, your opponent cannot expand. And there's no way that Rogue is going to move across the map with 5 Ravagers if you have 24 Marines. Like, it is just not going to be possible. Even the ramp on top of the natural base is going to be unbreakable with Ravagers because you can't walk up a ramp. You can probably get rid of the bunker and you can stop the Marines from attacking your drones at some point. That's going to take a while. But then you're still pretty much being hard contained. So Gumiho there pulling the trigger. He thought it was going to be enough. I'm not sure if he felt like some fake pressure on him where it was like, oh, I really need to move fast. But I don't think there was any pressure on him there whatsoever. The only pressure that was on him was the pressure that he imposed on himself using his own mind. As Rogue this time around is going to use both Overlords for some intense scouting around, making sure he's not going to fall prey to a similar strategy again. Although Rogue, you know, he's kind of like Diego in Ice Age 1. You know, you never really know whose side he's on. You know, at one point he's fighting with the saber-toothed tigers, then he's with the humans, then he's with, you know, the mammoth and the squid. No, not the squid. What is he called? The sloth. There you go. Ice Age would be very different if there was a squid involved, though. I'll be pitching that to Pixar, who I think made Ice Age. I feel like Ice Age is one of these like early 2000 animated films that gets slapped upon. Like, it never really gets mentioned with like Shrek and Toy Story, but I feel like, or like, you know, that yeah, I feel like actually that Ice Age is better than Toy Story. I think Ice Age 1, like the Toy Story trilogy is brilliant. Don't get me wrong, it's great. But Ice Age 1 is so freaking funny. Like, it's so, also Madagascar is so freaking good. Like, they're just funny films. You know, like I remember I was playing Warcraft 3 back in the day, and my cousins were staying over at my house, and they were watching Madagascar 1. And I remember I was like, man, I'm gonna let this Warcraft 3 game be, because I would hear it in the background, then watching Madagascar 1. I was like, wow, this is so freaking good. And I ended up watching this movie, and I was like 14 at the time, you know? I was like, I was not the audience for Madagascar. It was freaking funny. I feel like nowadays, animated films, they don't have the same level of jokes anymore, where, you know, it's really more made for kids, it feels like. You know, it's just not as funny. The Ice Age, I wet myself laughing when I watched it on the plane like a couple of years back. It's so freaking good. Now, Ice Age does fall pretty steeply off a cliff in the subsequent movie films. Like, Ice Age 2 is still decent. 3, it goes off the deep end, and 4, it's just, you know, it's just not as good anymore. It's like how many Ice Ages can you really make, you know? Apparently, I think it's 4 right now. I also keep asking those questions with the freaking Marvin film. Like, how many more times do we want to see Superman save the city? For me, the answer is 0, because I've never seen a Superman film in my life. But according to the Marvel boys, the number is 28. Superman Returns Part 3. Spider-Man Super Spider-Verse Part 7. And it's the same with Shrek. Shrek 1 was fantastic. So good. Even Shrek 2 was pretty good. But, I mean, does anyone really remember the plot of Shrek 3? Shrek 4, Shrek 5. I don't even know if they're out. Not memorable at all. All right. Enough about Shrek. If you talk too much about Shrek, he'll visit you in your sleep. And trust me, you don't want that. I've seen videos on what happens then. 4 Hellions and a Reaper are making their way across the map. 2 cars stay at home with 2 more soon on the way. This is a second Marine late tech lab. If you're a Rogue, you're starting to wonder whether this might be mech. And that is what Rogue is wondering right now. And if you're wondering that, that would be the right thing to ponder about. Because we do have the double refinery coming in before the extra barracks. This usually indicates an investment into factory. So I'm expecting factory 2 and 3 to come down here. Yep, there we go. 4 minutes and 50 seconds is pretty standard for factory timings. So it's good to see. And one thing that is pretty tricky is that you probably want to hide the fact that you're building extra Hellions if you are building them. But so far doesn't seem to be the case. Instantly goes into gas 5 here. Look at that. That is a heavy commitment into gas early on. I wonder if that's going to work out. Because you're going to be lacking in minerals for quite a while. We have Spire plus Baneling Nest coming down. So Rogue, despite seeing that second Marine, like that second Marine is such a Gumiho move. It's like, oh, second Marine, you know, I like mech, you know. You might want to get some confirmation there. Because usually it's single Marine and you get a tech lab on that thing. You get a freaking barracks there, boom, freaking cooking. But no, he wants to deny your scout because he doesn't want you to see the gas in the natural. But I mean, the moment you see this 5th gas, you know exactly what's going on. Or you should know exactly what's going on. And then the moment you see 2 extra factories in the main base, you hard confirm it. So I do wonder if we're going to continue with Lingbane Muta or if there's now going to be an alternative approach. This Hellion movement is quite decent, but there's just enough links out that it shouldn't deal a whole lot of damage. You get 5-6 drones. That is more than I think you'd usually get in this type of situation. As the double bench, you get a cancel here on the fort base as well. And we still really have no serious response out of Rogue, except continuing into Spire tech. You have number 4 and 5 coming out. Are we familiar with the Spire as a building? Are we aware of that? No, we're not. We have a couple of Cyclones now coming out. These will need to take care of the Mutalisk. Rogue is just saving up. Okay, he's gonna go for 7 Mutas. Dude, he's gonna need to deal some serious damage. Once more, not a great start for Rogue, but Rogue has a way of maneuvering himself into bad positions early on and then winning anyway. As well as a great life skill to have. One of the most phenomenal is, oh, these Hellions are gonna slip by. They're also going to scout the Mutas popping out most likely, which is a great little scout that they'll get. Look at that. I really do hope that Gumiho is paying attention. He's getting so many worker kills as we get the turret setups right now. Note, by the way, that Rogue decided to not stay at home with the Mutas. The Mutas would have been a great help at dealing with these Hellions, right? They would have killed them a little bit quicker. But he said, I need to deal some damage. You just killed a whole bunch of my units. I need to do something with my Mutas and fly across the map. That achieved absolutely nothing, but I like the thought. Anyway, I do like it. Fort base at an equal timing for both players. I think Gumiho is going to be quite pumped about that, as he adds in factory 6 and 7 already. That is a very decent amount of factories that he's adding into the mix here, that he's bringing to the table. Tech-wise, that looks phenomenal. We have vehicle plating as our first upgrade. Second armory hit the deck here as well, though. So we're going to just pump these numbers up, and look at this. No Evo chambers right now, just pure Muta production. That is going to be the plan. Pure Mutalisk production. There's not a turret here yet for whatever reason. I don't actually know what that reason would be. I'm also not entirely sure here on the Banshee count, by the way. That seems like an insane amount of Banshees. There's no turrets to really run back to, but these Cyclones by themselves, just running away, are going to be doing an amazing job here at killing a bunch of Mutalisk. So they're going to continue chasing these bad boys. 3 Mutas extra will fall. And so far, resources lost is looking great for Gumiho. Lost 3 Cyclones, killed 8 Mutas. That's a trait that he'll take any day of the week as he continues Banshee production for whatever reason. I do not understand this. I actually do not understand this at all. This feels foreign to me. Why are we adding in so many Banshees? Is this to deal with the Mutas? That doesn't make sense because Banshees don't shoot up. Is this to deal with the Lingbane? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense because this entire army is centered around the idea of running away against Lingbane Muta. Hellions high speed, Cyclones high speed. So you want to lock on, run away. And the Banshees are really not that great at running away. They're great when they're standing still and shooting consistently, or if they're harassing, but they can't really harass against Mutas. So in both scenarios, I feel like the Banshee is just an expensive distraction here for Gumiho's army. Sometimes what you see as well, when you have a lot of you have a lot of Banshees, like you invest a lot into a particular type of unit that doesn't work well with your army, is that you start using your main army different due to the existence of the Banshees. You often see this with Oracles as well. If people build a lot of Oracles, they want to make use of those Oracles, and they start fighting, you know, with the Oracles. Like, that's not actually what you want to be doing, like straight up fighting into Hydras, for example. That tends to be pretty crap. And it's the same with these Banshees. Like, we might see the Cyclones actually stand still right now, so that the Banshees can continue firing, but it actually kind of defeats the purpose of playing Cyclone Hellion. So I am very curious what he's going to be doing. Banelings are out. It's going to be an explosive battle no matter what happens because of that. And we have a 5th command center coming in. Turret counts, I wouldn't mind if you get some turret upgrades. Whether that's going to be armor or high-sec auto-tracking. If you're fighting against very high muta counts, anything above 10 really, I love to see these upgrades. I think they're underutilized still by Terran players that are playing mech. I understand if you're playing Bio, you don't want to use eBay space for high-sec auto-tracking and armor for the building armor. But if you're playing mech, like your eBay, you need it for the turrets, and you might as well get an upgrade going. Like, it's not like Gumiho doesn't have enough cash in the bank right now, as the Banshees are not nearby to help out. There's just so much supply into these Banshees and so much firepower in these Banshees that isn't really being utilized at the moment. So it's going to move a little bit further forward. A couple more mutas have been added into the mix as well, as this hatchery is taking a serious beating here right now against the Banshee squad. Of course, there are mutas coming in. Something you can do, by the way, is just kind of run towards mines. If you add some mines into the mix as well. We have 1 mine out, drilling claws coming in, vehicle plating, as well as +2 vehicle weapon attack. I mean, this is just a very good setup that Gumiho finds himself in. He's going to deny a couple of these changelings as well. Does not want to be caught off guard there, as the muta count is now at 17, and the Cyclones are going to lock on. That's going to be -2, 3 mutas, I think. Yeah, that's another 600 resources that just went down the drain on Rogue side of things. He has decent eco, but his resources lost is looking nasty. His creep spread, especially towards the sub side, isn't that brilliant either. We have a serious commitment onto creep right now, so the Banshees are going to move the complete different direction. Hellion count is actually not that high. There's like 4 or 5 Hellions here. They're going to morph into Hellbats, get a split on the Cyclones, and takes a decent fight in the end. Banshees are waiting for, mutas are waiting for the Banshees to go in and now want to catch them. Get a full-on cloak as the mutas start chasing. I think these mutas might actually get some serious damage onto this. Overseer is just a little bit too slow. Can he get back to the turrets? I think the answer will be yes, as the turrets will bring some safety, some peace of mind. We have a small split of Cyclones, which I actually really like. He's going to catch 2 of these Overseers, but does not dare straying too far away from his 5th base here on the bottom side, as his 6th gets built on location. The turret count here is too low, by the way. Like, this is a naive turret count. With this type of eco, at any point, I think Rogue can just add in like 8, 9, 10 extra mutas, and the moment you have your turrets go down and they're breaking through, that could be a huge problem. So it's just something I kind of want to draw attention to before it happens. Like, if you're playing against a high eco Zerg that has good muta upgrades, there's always that risk of eventually getting a major muta switch up, right? Most likely we're first actually going to go into Ultras, but I still am afraid of an eventual muta switch. As long as Thors aren't out, this is not the definitive end of the muta. Don't forget that. Ultras are going to be coming out here right now. We have the middle base for both players. Planetaries going up. 2 more factories, 3 more factories being added into the mix. This is pretty much a pure Cyclone army. And as a result, Rogue will need to get some flanks off here. Mine will get a decent shot. 14 kills on that bad boy. Banshee's in the back right now. Actually dishing out a lot of damage as the mutas come in with a flank. Not quite going to catch this. A couple of Banshees are going to fall. Mutas do not dare to commit onto this. And overall, I think this was a decent fight here for Rogue, as decent as you can expect out of a Zerg player on Mutaling Bane against Mass Cyclone Hellion. As the Banshee's not really capable of helping out here. The Muta's getting a decent trade against that group of cyclones. I feel like Gumiho's being very aggressive here, but perhaps he just knows that his opponent is stacking into something different right now. If this was like a pure Ling Bane follow-up, this army could be in some trouble, but as there's 6 Ultras on the way, and they're not quite out yet, this might actually be okay. And here we see kind of how useless these Banshees are in direct fights. Like, even if they're such a small army, they spend a lot of time running away rather than fighting, which makes it very difficult. Like, due to the Mutas. Usually there's no anti-air, and you're playing at like Ravager Ling Bane or something, Ravager Ling Bane Infestor. And in that case, the Banshees are fantastic. But as the Mutas were out so fast, it feels like they're not quite as useful right now. We're going to get a push in here with the Ultras. Banshees actually doing a great job here. The Mutas do not quite get the connections that they want. Ultras, however, are pushing through this army as we have continued attacks here out of Rogue, who has no bank remaining, but is still maxed out. Is going to be clearing this this planetary as well. Takes out the majority of the turrets as the the Ultras are absolutely cooking over here. What the hell? That is wild. Every single Banshee is being chased away. And the Mutas now start fighting these turrets. We have 6 more Mutas on the way as well behind this. I wonder if we're going to see a swap into tanks. This is very often the case with Terran players that are dealing with Ultralisk. And I think that is what Rogue is expecting. So that's why he's going for this mass Muta style right now. It's like, hey, if you were to add more Thors or Cyclones, that would be a crazy play. And you're not a crazy man, Gumiho. You try to act crazy, but you would not go pure Hellion Cyclone after seeing that it just absolutely demolished your army with Ultras, right? Wrong. Gumiho is just pumping a full Cyclone Hellion out of, I think, 10? Yeah, 10 factories right now. Repairing the Banshees as well. Worker count of 72. And this is one of the perks of being a Terran player, is that eventually you can just get rid of a lot of SCVs. Like, he just lost a bunch of SCVs. I don't think he wants to rebuild too many. And as I say that, he adds 5 more. I think that might actually be a mistake. He has a lot of mules available to himself. His mineral income is fantastic. I know his gas income still needs to stay high as well. But honestly, I'm kind of shocked with how high his worker count is here. I think going down to 71, 72 is a completely fine approach, as these mutas are going to fly in and are just barely going to dodge the Cyclones. I mean, turret count needs to increase absolutely everywhere. These 2 turrets over here are in danger. I think these 4 right now are also in danger. We have no upgrades on the turret, no high-sec auto-tracking. As a Ling Run-by comes into this orbital command, is going to make short work of that SCV count. Here we go. Yeah, this is just a serious issue. Look at that. +3 mutas are absolutely busted in the head. As the Cyclones are going to try to get some connections onto this. Could have tried going into the main base. Did not want to commit into that position, but really, there isn't that much available right there, right now. Adrenal Glands comes out. Mutas being AFK on the right side means that these Banshees can go in, and the Cyclones with a beautiful little trap set over here. Also kind of trap themselves, though, underneath the Mutas. So, do get a bunch of Mutas out. Could have definitely been better there in the end. As Gumiho is starting to build up quite the freaking army. And quite the freaking bank as well. Adding in some Thors, double Knight is coming out of Rogue as well. How many Mutas have died so far? 34 Mutas have gone down as 11 more get started. It's going to go up to 24. Like I said, as long as Thors aren't out, the Mutas are a decent fighting units against most things mech. Especially in combination with the Baneling. The thing that worries me the most, though, is this topside. This is a very insecure topside against air-based attacks. We do have these Banshees now being pushed back. Let's see how much they can achieve in this fight. Thor coming from the right side, kind of caught in a weird spot here. We'll get 2 fat shots onto those Mutas, maybe a 3rd shot even. Does turn around, anti-armor missile putting in some work as well. At the end of the day, this feels okay here for Gumiho. Did lose a lot of supply. Needs to make sure that these double Niduses don't come out, as there's a bunch of Lings inside. That's going to be frustrating. Of course, the Banshees can go back home to deal with that. Hellion Cyclone is being split off to deal with this base. See if we can do that. We got a lock onto this, a couple of Lings there. This is not going to be a major issue, but it's going to be an issue for a little bit. So both of these Niduses are going to get taken out, and this Hellion Cyclone will be strong enough. More turrets here are falling at a rapid pace. The Muta count is at 18 with 6 more on the way. 43 have gone down already. The Mass Muta really is something. Mass Muta really is something. It is something beautiful. It is something you look fondly back upon, you know? When you're on your deathbed, I don't think you'll regret any Muta game you've played. I think Terran players will regret the mech games that they've played. And they look back like, I really need to spend 2,500 hours of my life sitting behind tank lines and planetaries. The answer probably was no. So the Mutas are now going to show up. Gonna take care of all of these Banshees. We have this Cyclone army that's being splashed by the Ultras, but in the end we'll win. This is such a weird game. I don't actually know who's winning. Like, the supply and the bank tells me it's Gumiho, but I really like the Muta force that we still have out and about. 20 Mutas is such a serious number, as all of these Hellions are actually going to end up falling. We have another attack over here on this bottom side as well. Bailing's trying to get connections. Not going to be the greatest trade, but might just be good enough, as all of these Hellions are going to go down. Behind this, 7 more Cyclones coming in out of those 10 factories that we have. I do believe that that Rogue has taken a weird lead right now. It's lost 18 drones. Gumiho, by the way, also not going into like a ghost transition, which is something we frequently see. Ooh. This run by failing is a huge deal. Because I think that is kind of the last army that he has that he can just willy-nilly send out. I think the time of willy-nilly sending stuff out has now ended officially. As these turrets are going to go down. Orbital in a world of trouble as well. It can change so freaking fast, man. Legitimately, a minute ago, Gumiho had a bigger bank and bigger supply, and now Gumiho seemingly is pretty dead. Ultras are coming in, and without any tanks to really shoot at them. Like, all the Cyclones will need to focus onto those Ultras, and then the Mutas are going to be a serious problem. Mutas for now just taking out base after base after base after base. As there's really nowhere to run for these Cyclone, for this Cyclone Hellion. Supplies are getting a little bit more even. And we still have some orbitals behind this. Total of 5 orbitals in 1 command center. Which can be used, of course. Oh. Here's the lack of the turrets once again playing a major role. These Mutas are going to take out the planetary. At the same time, though, Gumiho also takes out a base. Bailing's here finishing up right in front of him. Not being taken out is quite a big deal. Ultra count is decent as well, so another hatch is going to get taken out. Mutas are just kind of behind enemy lines. There's really nothing that can deal with this accurately, I don't think so. Oh, that's a big amount of Cyclones, though. Dude, if he would have gotten a good lock on there, that would have been huge. Muta count still is decent. Rogue is so clutch with these Mutas, though. He knows exactly how much space he has to maneuver. He's moving his entire army towards the top side right now to maybe try and deal with these Cyclones. Ling, Ultra, Baneling, flank out of the Mutas as well coming in right now. Cyclones are taking a major beating over here. Get a lock on and a fly away. A new lock on now onto these Ultras and Lings. So Raven gets blasted here as well. Another Banshee gets taken out. Cyclones are doing a decent job at this. And this feels okay for a Rogue, but Rogue does need to be careful. He loses 2 of these Ultras right now. Cyclone count is still decent. We're going to get a full run away onto these Cyclones. Can we get another lock on over here? Yes, we can. We'll cost him 2 Cyclones. New ones are running further and further forward. Can he get somewhere safe is the question right now. And I think the answer is going to be no. GG gets called. Rogue will win this series with a 2-0 score here on Leylines.